All right, welcome back. Lawyers for Donald Trump and 8 other co-defendants have filed an emergency appeal in the great state of Georgia to remove DA Fani Willis from the election interference case in that state.
Steve Sato, Trump's lead counsel, writing, quote, "The motion notes that the court found that Willis's actions created an appearance of impropriety and an odor of mendacity that lingers in this case, but it nonetheless refused to dismiss the case or disqualify her." She's still on.
Our next guest initiated this effort to remove Fani Willis from the case. Ashley Merchant, we've been watching her in court. She joins us now for a Fox & Friends exclusive. Hey, Ashley.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing well, thank you. What happens if the Georgia State Senate does find that there's misconduct?
Well, they're actually looking at a couple different things. They're looking at changing laws, if there's any laws that are in place that they need to amend or change. They can also remove her from office. Our governor just signed a law that now has oversight over district attorneys, and so they actually can remove her from office. That's a law that's going into effect this summer. So I think we'll be seeing a lot of investigations coming. There's a lot of information that wasn't necessarily relevant to my motion that I wasn't able to bring in court, but that other agencies are also investigating.
Absolutely. And of course, we were all watching you live on TV back in February. I'm sure you got a lot of text messages and email from friends and family. We've got a snippet of, here's a little flashback. Here you are grilling the current DA, Fani Willis, about the whole situation between her and Nathan Wade, who would eventually, far after this, resign from the case. Listen.
I don't remember the dates, but you're an officer of the court. I hope you're telling the truth now.
May I approach the witness? Has he ever visited you at the place you laid your head?
So let's be clear, because you lied in this. Let me tell you which one you lied in. Right here. I think you lied right here. No. This is the truth,
Judge.
And it is a lie. It is a lie.
So, Ashley, she called you repeatedly a liar, and I know you were attacked viciously online and elsewhere, but you feel that ultimately Judge McPhee's court decision saying one of the two of them has got to quit, Nathan Wade did. You've been vindicated, right?
Yes. Oh, definitely. I mean, I was called a liar so many times, but every stage of the process, I was vindicated because everything was proven in court and all of the sources of my information were finally verified. And so everyone actually finally knows that those calls of me being a liar were not accurate.
So, Ashley, I have to say, the whole time, it was one surprise after another. From our perspective, we couldn't believe what was taking place. Fani Willis was not supposed to go on the stand. What were your thoughts? Right. When she says, obviously was going terribly in the morning. So she lines up and she just launches into that seat. What are you thinking? I know you know the case and I know why you brought it forward, and this relationship is what had this judge entertain it. So what are you thinking?
I mean, at that point, I was surprised that she came in, but I would want to defend myself if someone had made allegations that I was claiming was false. Sure. What surprised me was that she didn't bring anything to actually back it up. So if someone had accused me of wrongdoing, I'm going to bring my phone. I'm going to bring my text messages. I'm going to bring my bank records. So that surprised me that she didn't bring any actual proof. We just were stuck with her word that she paid back these transactions in cash. I would have brought transaction slips. I would have brought a lot of information if I had planned on taking the stand. But it definitely surprised me, and we're not supposed to be watching the proceedings as a witness when they're going on. The fact that she knew exactly when to come in, I got to ask her about that on the stand, but it appeared as though she had been watching the proceedings, so that was a little bit surprising as well.
She's lied. That means she lied. She said she wasn't supposed to be watching. She clearly lied. She lied over and over again, and she seems to be getting away with it to a degree.
Yes. And I mean, I think the judge pointed that out in his order. He talked about her demeanor on the stand. That's not what I think you would expect to see from the sitting district attorney, from a lawyer on the stand. I understand she was defensive, but being defensive is one thing. Bringing proof, bringing evidence to support your claims, that's a whole different story. And then just really lashing out the entire time at how angry you are for being victimized, in her words, that was a little bit surprising.
Ashley, you said that people are coming out of the woodworks with more leads, and you give an example talking about the forfeiture funds. Explain to our audience what that is.
Yeah, so there's a lot of different funds that the district attorney gets. They get federal funds, they get state funds, and particularly what you were asking about is forfeiture funds. That's when the government takes someone's property or takes someone's money. And then the district attorney has those funds and they're able to use them. The thing is, the law has very specific requirements for how you can use those. And so she's getting federal forfeiture money, and that is being used to pay Nathan Wade. We've tracked over $100,000 in payments to him just from forfeiture funds.
And you're not allowed to do that, right?
That's one of the things that's being investigated.
You're not allowed to pay lawyer fees out of federal forfeiture funds, right?
You are not.
Yeah. So Ainsley was talking about how people now, after you went on TV and this case was revealed, are coming out of the woodwork with other details about what went on between the two of them. But it all started with a tip. Who told you guys, hey, you know what I just saw?
Good question.
Where'd that come from?
Right. That came from Nathan Wade's best friend and law partner. So at the time, they were law partners, and he represented him in a divorce proceeding, which when he told me this tip, I didn't even know he represented him in the divorce proceeding. I had no idea. I thought they were just law partners and friends. But he's the one that tipped me and another one of the attorneys off and started talking about all of the different things that he had witnessed. And so we started investigating and follow up and do, things called open records requests and talk to other witnesses and sort of verify all that information.
But I just want to bring up this. You also revealed the invoices and the meetings in Athens with White House counsel. When people say there's no link between the White House and the Georgia case, what did you reveal?
Oh, there's definitely a link. I mean, a lot of the billing records show that, Nathan Wade was reimbursed for trips to Washington, D.C., that he met with J6 counsel. He met in Athens. He met in Washington, D.C. I also got records from the White House showing that not only Ms. Willis went there, but other people in her staff went to the actual White House. So they have tracking data on who enters the White House, how long they're there. I was able to find all of that information. So there was quite a bit of information linking this back to D.C.
Ashley, is there a chance that she could be disqualified? Is there another route for that? And what happens in all the other Trump cases?
I mean, I definitely think she could be disqualified. We've got this new commission in Georgia that's hopefully looking into this, and they could disqualify her. There's a lot of other avenues that the judge even outlined in his order. Lots of other people are looking at this. She's facing re-election. She's got two opponents right now. So there's a lot of other checks and balances that are in place. Plus, more information can come forward, and we are continuing to investigate.
Right. Ashley, exit question. I know you're only involved in one of Donald Trump's many legal cases, but, there are a lot of people who say that Democrats and the legal system is set up to go after the former president. What do you think?
I think that at this point, it's in excess, and there are a lot of people out there that are waiting for their day in court, and I think they should get their day in court. There's a lot of people in civil cases that cannot get trials until 2028. I mean, we're regularly getting trial dates for 2028, 2029. Why? Because the docket is being crowded with other cases. So I think there's an issue of judicial economy. Other defendants are entitled to their day in court. So I just think at this point, we've got to look at the big picture and start to think about judicial economy and think about the rest of the American public that actually wants to get into the court system.
Right. And just real quick, we only have 30 seconds, but what's the schedule? When's the next time you have a hearing? When's the earliest this thing could be a trial, if at all?
Well, that's a good question about the trial, because right now we're going to do the appellate process. And so, we should know by the end of the week if the judge is going to give us the appeal. If he does, then we have to ask the appellate court for the appeal. But it moves pretty quickly early on. If we get the appeal, it's about 6 months for the appeal to actually work its way through the system. So I think we've got some time with the appeal.
Well, the schedule is much different than Judge Judy. She's able to do it all in a half an hour, so it's amazing.
Ashley, a very impressive presentation.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for joining us. We truly appreciate it.
Thank you, Ashley.
Thank you. I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.